Celebrity divorce is such a funny thing. Here's what I mean by that. We all expect and we all anticipate that every celebrity is somehow fabulously rich, that they have it all, that every celebrity has millions stacked upon millions of dollars, gold bars, lands, properties, companies, agencies, production companies, everything that you can imagine from rags to riches, the grandiose lifestyle. That when a celebrity goes to the Oscars or to the Golden Globes or makes a special appearance at the Teen Choice Awards or the Country Music Awards or wherever in the name Taylor Swift goes, that celebrity takes those gifts and just throws them on the floor. All of that $100,000, $200,000 gift bag with all those special cosmetics, weight loss products, beauty products, special designer wear, that they just fling it aside. No problem. No big deal. That's just totally common. That's what every celebrity wants because they don't need it. They just want it. So here's the thing. Not every celebrity is Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. And not every celebrity has had 20, 30, 40 movies that have paid them 10 to 20 plus $1 million. Not every celebrity is an executive producer or a producer on a project. And not every celebrity lives in a mansion. Some celebrities that have TV shows that go 2, 3 seasons, you recognize them, you might love them, you might really appreciate their work. That does not mean that they have everything beyond your wildest dreams. Some celebrities, really good actors and actresses, live paycheck to paycheck. Some are reduced to roles such as voiceover roles that they would otherwise rather not have because they have no alternative. This is how they make a living. This is how they eke out a buck. This does not mean that their work is bad or that they're bad people or that there's something wrong with them. Like any other job in the world, you have, and I'm going to take academia as an example here, and maybe a quick corporate view as an example here. I used to work in academia and I was a professor. I worked at 4 different universities as a history professor, of all things. Not the most lucrative career, but I expected one day to be a tenured professor and to be a department chair. But the structure of American university education is typically, not always, typically this that you have somebody at the top who's the department chair that makes 150,000 a year, has vacation days, has bonuses, has summers off, plans and does everything there. And then you have a series of low-level adjunct professors, which I was. And those adjunct professors make $2,000, $3,000 a whole semester per class, and you're never offered more than a select number of classes. So that way the university can save money on benefits and not have any contractual relationship with you. This goes back to celebritydom. Unless you're at the top, you're just a worker drone like everybody else. Yes, maybe you make $10,000 an episode for the first season of a television show when you're a rookie actor, but 10 episodes on Amazon or Netflix? That means you've made $100,000. That's not even enough for an apartment in Hollywood, really. That's barely enough to survive out there. So when we think of celebrities and celebrity divorces, not all celebrity divorces are created equally. But what you really want to know, what you folks really want to know from all of this is the fabulous lifestyle. As Robin Leach would say, the rich and famous. You want to know what happens when somebody like Bradgelina gets a divorce. You want to know what happens when Channing Tatum gets a divorce. You want to know what happens when President Biden, Trump, Barack Obama, when somebody like that gets a divorce. You want to know what happens when the juiciest, most tabloid driven folks get a divorce, what that means and what it doesn't mean. And here's the thing, kind of like child support for athletes, when some people, such as football players and basketball players, have more than 10 kids, not all child support awards are created equally. Not all of them are the same. There's a difference. Not everybody has the same need. So let's talk turkey here. Suppose that celebrity A and celebrity B have made 30 movies each. And celebrity A is worth $100 million, celebrity B is worth $150 million. They have a multitude of companies, cosmetics, clothing, weight loss companies. They have production companies for the producing of movies and casting and working with Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and all the major streamers and Disney. So suppose we have these folks and they have more money than you can ever imagine. A divorce for them does not necessarily mean, even if it were in Florida where the presumption is an equitable 50-50 split, that's not really possible. You can't always split a company 50-50. It doesn't work that way. If your company has 100 employees, how do you split it with your spouse who's not a company owner and has no role in it 50-50? Do they get 50 of your employees to decide what to do with them, hire them, fire them, give them a raise? Not really. That's not how it works. Instead, the likelier outcome is that if these folks are really hell-bent on dividing everything they have and going to war with each other, we're going to need business valuations. We're going to need forensic accountants. We're going to need a multitude of experts, a multitude of CPAs who are highly trained with small, medium, and large businesses to diagnose and determine what that business should be earning, how much that business is worth, and what could be divisible assets does the business have, if any, that would be subject to equitable distribution. And let's say that these two folks have, let's say, 100 shares of Bitcoin and 1,500 shares of Litecoin, and they're worth a small fortune. Well, there are tax implications, which I cannot educate you about. I'm not a CPA. But there are tax implications associated with dividing that. And can you just simply divide it into two accounts with the people's names on it? And how does that work? So celebrity divorces are wild this way. Brad and Angelina fought allegedly over a vineyard in California, and they fought for years over ownership of this piece of property, amongst their other, again, multitude of high value properties that most of us would want to dream to own in a lifetime. And we think about this in terms of what's a fair split and what if I don't agree to a fair split? What is the judge going to do? Is the judge going to say, okay, well, I see there's 10 properties here. I'm going to shuffle them all up. 5 go to you, Brad. 5 go to you, Angelina. There you go. Whichever ones I shook up and randomly assigned. A judge cannot do that. That's also inequitable. That is improper. So there has to be another way. Maybe your attorneys work on this as celebrities forever, and your attorneys continue trading ideas and mixing and matching and finding all of this out. Well, in a perfect world, that sounds great. If your attorney has your best interest in mind, they're battling both opposing counsel, the other attorney's demands upon your client, and trying to figure out what's in your client's best interest with an eye on settlement to end litigation. But celebrities, are they really worried about their legal fees, or can they go on ad infinitum forever? Because they have enough of a war chest, enough resources, that settlement in a divorce seems anathema to them. It's just, I don't need to settle. This can go on for 15 years. I don't care. I have enough money to pay for it. It's barely even a tax write-off at the end of the year. It's such a minuscule amount of money compared to the earnings of $200-300 million a year, right? Legal costs are never going to amount to even a fraction of that, even in a celebrity divorce. So we have all of these things together. Celebrity divorce is something that is wild. It's something that takes a lot of time. It's something that has a lot of egotism mixed in, a lot of territorialism mixed in, a desire to be a winner, and the fact that there are really no consequences to prolonging the process. It's not easy to separate an entire estate or empire of a celebrity. It's really, really not easy. But ultimately, if it has to go to a judge, we've probably been through so many motions already, through so many internecine skirmishes and so many, I guess we would call middle of the road hearings for child support, temporary alimony, injunctions on selling things, Liz penances on estate homes, and the like. Celebrity divorces are messy. They're fascinating, they're fun to do, and they're highly lucrative for every counsel involved and every person involved in the planning of it. But understand, celebrity divorces are not like your divorces because they're not dealing with a $400,000 house, 2 mid-priced cars, and 2 minor children. They might be dealing with hundreds of millions of dollars of companies, of assets, of stocks, of other portfolios, all of which, some way, shape, or form, somehow have to be divided smartly, accurately, and if there's no agreement of the parties, by the court. Thanks very much for listening to my Celebrity Divorce podcast today, everybody. I hope you've learned a little something about the differences between us regular folks and how high dollar value asset cases might work. Thanks.